Tomorrow afternoon, President von der Leyen will participate in virtual meetings conveyed by the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, on peace for Ukraine. Meetings between European leaders, the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, and the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Later in the afternoon, the President will also participate in a virtual meeting of the Coalition of the Willing.
Ukraine and the talks tomorrow. Is there any contingency planning ongoing in this building and with other EU institutions regarding a scenario where during the Putin-Trump meeting on Friday, there is an outcome that is not what was envisioned by the European and Ukrainian side? Is there any thinking and planning going on how the Europeans would communicate and how they would act to help Ukraine if the outcome is not what President Zelensky was hoping for? Thank you.
Thanks. Of course, Anita is free to join me if she wishes, but our position is very clear. We had a statement by the EU 26 leaders this morning and, of course, by the President. Right now, we are focusing on the preparation of this meeting. We will have calls tomorrow among leaders. The position is clear. We welcome the efforts by President Trump to reach peace for Ukraine, a peace that is just and lasting and respects sovereignty and territorial integrity. And in this sense, we are working with Ukraine to make sure that this is kept in mind in the meeting of Friday. Anything else is pure speculations at this stage, and I don't think we would be entering in them. But Anita,
so in terms of the framework, and this is why also the High Representative has called yesterday for an extraordinary foreign affairs council meeting that has tackled precisely the importance of ensuring that we give Ukraine all the support it needs in view of all the upcoming negotiations.
I would also like to go back to the video conference, Anita, you mentioned yesterday, Foreign Affairs Council, because I don't think there was any statement or conclusions, nor was there any press conference afterwards. But relating to the previous question, I mean, were there any indications that also President Zelensky and EU leaders will at some point be invited to next summit to discuss the ceasefire which could lead to a peace settlement in Ukraine? And another related question.
Mose, what were you saying on the first point on Ukraine?
I believe the question was, following yesterday's VTC, whether there's a planning to have President Zelensky at the next Leaders' Summit. Look, yesterday I believe there was a discussion among ministers of foreign affairs. There are contacts ongoing with the Ukrainian counterparts at all times and at all stages. The meetings of tomorrow convened by Chancellor Merz include President Zelensky, so the contacts with him are constant, as well as with his administration. For the rest, it's not for us to speculate whether he will be invited to summits or not in the future. This has happened in the past, but you also have a competence of the Council in this sense. So there will be tomorrow a call between new leaders, President Zelensky and President Trump, in view of the bilateral meeting that President Trump has called for Friday with President Putin. Let me remind you that at the same time, the EU is extremely active on all fronts to support Ukraine and put Ukraine in a position of strength. So we continue keeping full pressure on Russia. We have adopted 18 sanction packages, and Anita can confirm, but the HRVP has made reference to a new sanction package that we're working on, so our pressure continues as strong as ever. At the same time, we continue supporting Ukraine financially, from a military perspective, from a financial perspective. I can recall that just yesterday we have paid out 1.6 billion of windfall profits to Ukraine, and we're working on enabling Ukraine to resist to this aggression and being put in a strength position in these negotiations. So this is the activities we're carrying out. Then, of course, in this context, we speak with the other international partners and leaders, but at this stage, any consideration on a possible good or bad deal is simply premature and pure speculation. What we're doing now is reiterating our views on what a just and lasting lasting peace for Ukraine should be, and that any decision on Ukraine can be taken with Ukraine at the table. And just reconfirming our support. Anita?
Perfect, that's it.
You mentioned the 19th sanction package that HRVP spoke about yesterday. What more can you tell us about this package, timings, contents, and will there be any coordination with the U.S.? Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's already quite a lot, and as per usual, we'll not be able to go into details. All the negotiations are obviously confidential, but the key and core element remains our pressure on Russia works. This is why they want to get rid of our sanctions, so this is why we're continuously working on adding more sanctions to our packages.
It's a question about the statement that was issued on Ukraine, where Hungary, as per usual, did not join. Is this something that is at this point anticipated and just common procedure, or was it still a surprise?
So thank you for the question. It's nothing new. Also, it's nothing new that we need unity to be strong. And if we don't have this unity, there's only one party that will profit from this, and this is Russia. So this is why, beyond the statements, but throughout all our strands of work, the point was always made clear. We want peace. Ukraine wants peace. No one wants more peace than Ukraine. And as a proof, also, we had 18 sanction packages that were adopted by unanimity. Of course, there will always be discussions. Nobody said it will be easy, but until now we have always managed, and this was our strength and continues to be.
Decisions tomorrow. Is there a security guarantee you would, as in the EU, would try to convince President Trump to offer to Ukraine in case there is territory exchange or just given, as they're suggesting they want?
We cannot prejudge. What we can do is look at the leader's statement that was published just this morning, and the statement reads, "A Ukraine capable of defending itself effectively is an integral part of any future security guarantees. The European Union and Member States are ready to further contribute to security guarantees based on their respective competences and capabilities in line with international law and in full respect of the security and defence policy of certain Member States and taking into account the security and defence interests of Member States." So for now we can only stick to the words that the leaders have used themselves. Assets will be a core element of tomorrow's discussion. This is not something that we can speculate about at this stage. We will let the leaders speak tomorrow. Also, there is a statement out there and there is no specific reference. Of course, the frozen assets are something that the Commission, or the windfall profits from these frozen assets, is something the Commission is using in support of Ukraine. On the mechanism itself, I am very happy to call Balázs to provide you with additional explanations, sorry, on the payment of yesterday eventually, but on the mechanism itself, my colleague Guillaume can assist you. Beyond that, there is no speculations we can make on a hypothetical plan. We have a reality. We have the windfall profits in action. And as I just said, the reality is that there was a third payment yesterday, which all goes in support to Ukraine. Packages we have already adopted are going into force as planned. So on the details of what entered into force when and what will enter into force with phasing in periods, I can refer you to Olof or to the Q&As we have published each time we have adopted a package. So everything is going ahead as planned. On future sanctions packages, as Anita has said, we never comment on before they are adopted, so we're not going to be in a position to do so this time either.